Well, welcome back. You're going to see what those last two cards were. You want to guess? Do you want to guess? I don't know what they were, actually. So your guess is as good as mine. Ah, that's all they were. Okay. So I've got junk here, unfortunately. Damn. Oh, it's so close. I feel like I wanted like an ace king flush draw from under the gun. I don't know if that's too tight to only have like, those absolute premium flush draws, to have that few flush draws. Okay, going for an hour now. Trip fours here. Now, I think this is where things go horribly wrong for me again. So, okay, so we've got this min raise here, this min raise here, this call. So, what do I decide to do? I feel it was quite. I'm going to squeeze. I mean, I feel I have to squeeze here. By squeeze, I mean raise relatively large because of the dead money here. So that's what I feel I'm going to do. I feel like he's got like a big pair, two pair all the time. Um, so that's what I decide to do. I decide to squeeze here. Trouble is, I've now put in a third of my stack, right? So you do run the risk that that you could run into something that he could be kind of sort of slow playing something. So you get out of the way, and he puts it all in. So the problem now is we've only got 900 odd to call, and the pot's you know that amount. So I'm getting 4-1 on my call here. Ugh, so now I feel I'm up against something pretty big, and I think I've just run into something here. I mean, trip fours, but because I've jacked the pot up so much, I don't feel I can just fold. But maybe I should. I don't know. I mean, because the thing is, you have so few outs. If he's got a pat hand or bigger trips or anything that beats this, you've got basically you've got almost no outs. If so, I decide to, because he's all in. I'm going to be drawing two to maximise my equity here. I'm not going to be. There's no need to disguise anything. So I've got I've got a 1 in 10 chance of hitting here, roughly, if by drawing two. Um, just and I'm getting 4-1. So can I fold? You know, 9-1 chance of hitting, and I'm getting 4-1. If if that's what I'm up against, because I don't know necessarily that he's not doing something with I mean, a worse hand. It's not impossible, is it? But probably I needed to fold here. Because that's the thing about five card draw that I'm still coming to terms with, is that when you're behind going into the draw, you're way behind. This is worse than aces and kings in Hold'em, or aces and anything in Hold'em, pretty much. It's just so and trip fours. I mean, that's a good hand, but if I look at single draw, it's like a good 10 in single draw. And like, sometimes you're going to run into a better hand than that, but you actually have a there you have a better chance of hitting than you do here. So I call, right? I call. Just 'cause I see the odds there. What do I don't hit. He's got a pat flush, right? So I feel like a couple of things I probably did wrong there. I didn't when I squeezed, I didn't need to go that big. I didn't need to go that big. Yeah, three bet sizing just doesn't need to be that big. So I think that was a mistake. And then I sort of backed myself into a corner there by going so big, because it then gave me the odds to potentially call, not really knowing what he had and whatever. So So basically, I made a mess of that. I made a mess of it. Because I was unlucky to run into something as good as that when I had trip fours, but you know, still had to just gotta deal with the situation. So I've now got jacks. Um, I hit a third jack, so I'm like, oh, I'm going to stack off here. I'm not folding here under any circumstance. I can't imagine with my stack size now that being there's happening right on the back of that previous hand. So join one. And what do I decide to do? Do I decide to go for a check? I decide to go for a check raise here. That's my plan. Monsieur Boo bets. What do I decide to do? I decide to just get the rest of my money in. I don't think anything else makes a lot of sense. So what does he decide to do here? What would he call me with? And because I'm so short, I could be doing something silly. I mean, that people do that sometimes. So let's see what he does. Got a bit of time. See what he does here. He folds. Okay, I'm sure that he made the right decision. I think he probably had small trips or a good two pair there. He's obviously chip up a bit there. It just didn't make sense to bet to re-raise to any other amount. I could have just min raised or something. I'm sure he probably would have called me there. He's got trip kings. Okay, fives. Nothing here. Nice hand here. Right, aces. Just goes for that amount. Still going for that 2.7 times raise. Feel like something slightly smaller would be better because of how far apart hands actually are. How many does he draw? Let's see. Three. Three for you, three for me. Ooh, I hit, so obviously I have to bet. Okay. So back up to sort of similar amount to what I started with. So it's been real sort of up and down. Not quite. Queen's under the gun I don't really like very much. Just think there's just too much of a chance on a full table you're going to run into a better hand. That's simple. Someone's going to have kings or aces or two pair just a bit too often. Queens and sevens. He didn't open limp pat flush. I actually I got that wrong. I thought he opened limp to pat flush, but he didn't open limp it. So if I see him again, I'll change that note if I remember to do that. If we go multi-way, I don't mind drawing four so much. If we're heads up, I hate doing it. So you're just going to get, um, you know, people taking advantage of that. You just look extremely weak. Nothing here. See, I have to think about the pat bluffing thing. You know, what to pat bluff with, and what and how often should you pat bluff? You don't get a lot of real pats, so you shouldn't pat bluff that often. But you've got to do it sometimes, because so that you can get value whenever you do have a pat, right? So I think that's really So now I'm way behind his range. I've got a hit here. I don't. So now he's got two pairs surely. Oh yeah. Oh, so he doesn't. He had a draw there, right? So interesting that he doesn't always have a monster. Sometimes he had a flush draw and was called with a flush draw. It's probably not correct actually. You just don't have the odds. Um, he's only going to get paid off if I happen to hit trips or whatever there too. So just gets it all in. Okay. Paulina. 3-way pot here. Ooh, the size of that. Gone. Oh, and he got this big flush paid off there. Wow. So how many? I can just see kind of a little bit what happened there. Still drew one. Okay. Right. Now I've got aces. Got aces in this spot here. The big blind. Okay. Decided to fold. He drew one. I just don't think I'm good very often there. So, so now I've got jacks. Open it up. So to this side as well, sometimes I'm limp in that spot. And it's, oh God, look what I've got here. So how do I get value for this? Just play it as I normally do. Don't do anything silly. So just go to 450. I didn't expect to get a fold there. I was really quite surprised that he folded. So I'd be doing that with a lot of hands far, far, far worse than that. But, you know, that's a shame. Such a strong hand and not be able to get a little bit more value from it. Quite have a straight. Three, three. Check. That's half the pot. He gets a cool big hand there, his aces. So we are seeing some big hands today. It's quite a fun game, this actually. I think it's more fun than people realise. I think part of the attraction for me is that the really big hands don't come up very often. You know, it's very read based. Uh, Such a small bet that is. You got to fold. Just fold to this min raise under the gun here. Looks like it's probably going to be pretty strong. If he takes an aggressive action, so he's drawing two, and he bets the pot, so it looks like he's got trips here, like good trips. Even though he just min raised. I mean, who knows what he might have, because you know, you can see I've sort of been up and down a little bit, but without ever being able to make any real headway. And this Kakapupu's got 21,000. Would you believe this guy looked like he didn't even know the rules of the game, or didn't was kind of advertising his cluelessness. Now he's 21,000. I'm very grateful he's off my table because it's always you don't really want to have the huge stack at your table. It just you can just raise and bet with kind of with abandon. And pair of eights there, worth anything. Hope I get to play a little bit of this over Christmas. Oh, trip tens. Ooh, hang on. Okay. So he was going for a check raise or something. Hang on, what actually happened there? Can I go back a little bit? Okay. 3, 2. Oh no, he did bet, right? So he bet, and he got a call. Okay. I thought for some reason I thought he checked. The pot was small. He's got to read the action. So I get to, I'm just going to draw 3 here. Don't see much point in keeping a kicker here. I think it's very sad that poker's become so Hold'em dominated. I mean, it was Hold'em dominated back in like '09 when I first started playing, but now it's the domination of Hold'em has reached a whole nother level. So I haven't got anything I can call with. So I'm just going to let this go. Don't see a whole lot of complete bluffing. You do see some. You'll make sure if you think someone's bluffing, you actually beat a bluff. That's the other thing, right? So I just fold there. Don't pair of threes with all that other gubbins. It's not really worth it. So what you call a mackerel sky tonight, I think. So yeah, I think Black Friday kind of expedited that. Uh, Suddenly in America, people couldn't uh, play play online anymore, so they had to play live pretty much. How do you do that? Well, you play the game that's easiest to play, easiest to deal. People that everyone sort of knows like the back of their hand, and that's Hold'em. Of course. So anyway, that's just we had a little break there. So that's um, just back after the break, second break of the tournament, and I could have died by now, or I could have had a big stack, but neither of those things have happened. Closer to dying than having a big stack though. So go for 2.5 times this time. I've gone size down slightly because the bubble's not that far away. 8 to go. I think 30. Is it? Oh no, 9. No, what am I saying? 9 get paid. So still, um, so I thought it was more than that. So it's 9 who get paid. But you're sort of getting to the stage. Late reg is going to be finishing soon, where yeah, you're gonna people are a little bit thinking about, oh, maybe I can cash here. So you have more fold equity now than you did before. What do I do here? So hang on. So you drew 3. I've drawn 3. I decide to fold. I don't know. That's an interesting one because now what I did there, I folded. I knew I was going to be good sometimes. I folded because I thought his range would be tighter because there's a third player in there. Don't know how good that assumption is. So it was a really close decision. I thought, well, with aces up, I would have called, right? Aces up, that would have been a call for sure. Kings up, I just felt that you know, his range betting into two people is going to be a lot stronger, or a bit stronger than it would be if he was just betting into one. So because of that, look at the hand. Look at the hand I'm going to pick up now. But so because of that, I decided to make the fold. I was getting 3-1. Probably I was going to be good 25% of the time. I just with the third player behind though. So look what he actually had. Would you believe it? So I had kings and fours. He had kings and sevens. Not that often that's going to happen. So I accidentally made the right decision there because he had I folded the hand that was better than what you had, and then the other guy called with a hand that was um, that would have actually beaten mine. So kind of as I accidentally did fold a loser. So here we go. Trip tens under the gun five-handed. Isn't that a nice hand? For 2.5 times. And what happens? I don't get any action, which is a real bugger actually. Hand that strong. Now I've got a flush draw. He's gone for the 3 times raise under the gun. Yeah, that was that hand before, right? As I said, I just by pure accident I do make the right decision, which probably means I actually made the wrong decision. I don't know. I think that was really close. I think it was really close. But I did put a note that he bet the queens up there. Let's fold this as well. I'm 17th out of 19, so I'm in bad shape, obviously. 18th out of 20. Again, 20th out of 21. It's getting worse. The only guy who's got fewer chips than me is Oliver Poe, who underplays his monster hands for some weird reason. Got a nice sky tonight, actually. First time I've seen the sun for about a week. Might even be more than that. And it's sun's just about to go down. It's going down right now if it hasn't already done so. There's 3 twos. Okay. So it's important to realise that this is probably the game where hands run furthest apart than any other game that you'll see on Poker Stars or anything. The worst hand before the draw is probably going to be the worst hand after the draw too. You really need good odds to see a draw. You've also got to remember that the straights and flushes, particularly straights, are not always going to be winners. That's the other thing too, right? If you get involved in a big pot, if you're deep, you have to think about that a little bit too. So Oliver Poe survives with his aces up. I have nothing. Let's see how. So what happens? At the moment it says 7 are going to pay. Well, I know that 9 end up paying. Can I somehow come back and be one of them? We'll see. So he's just gone for the pot size raise there. Don't have anything I can call him with. Because he's so desperate. Say if I had 3 threes, I would have put him all in, I think. Oh, interesting that he got a call there. Drawing 3, which, yeah, okay. Don't know whether I'd call any. Oh, okay, interesting that he called with that, actually. Again, it's the wrong game. So I've won 28 pots out of 170, or 6, I'm going to be folding this. So if you look at it, there are 5 players on this table. So I should be winning, on average there have been about 5 players. So by rights I should win 20% of my hand. So out of 176, you'd be looking at 35. Well, I've certainly won less than that. So, um, I'm not winning my fair share of the pot. So obviously it's because partly because I'm not actually playing as many hands as most of my opponents are. I'm tighter. Um, so I wonder whether I need to be bluffing post a little bit more. I don't know. Hmm. A lot of them are kind of getting involved with medium pairs and stuff like that, which, see, I think I raise this up, don't I? Queens with a king kicker. I just min raise. I don't know why I did that. He's three bet me. Ugh. So I call. Feel I'm going to be high most of the time. It's probably got a two pair or trip or trips, even with that min three bet. So I'll just run into something again here. Uh, Draws one. Don't hit. Would have called if I'd made queens up, but wouldn't have liked it. So anyway, I'm now down to only basically nothing. Okay. Don't know. Just check. I was going to max there, wasn't I? Draws three. I draw three. I don't hit. I actually win that one, which is interesting. Didn't expect to. Now I've got two pair, so I'm just going to get all my chips in here. It's a bad two pair, but it's something, right? You're going to get any folds here. Sometimes you do quite well in these desperate situations because you get calls that you shouldn't get. So people think you're being very, very light because you're so desperate. But no, this time I don't, but I do get a chip up. I mean, Strix is extremely short, obviously. He survives that time with his aces. Nothing here. Looks so it could have got interesting with those first three cards. Somebody else has just joined. So late reg still hasn't finished. 9 minutes till it closes off. Kakapoo still got a ton of chips. So 900 for Oliver Poe. Makes the calls. He probably shouldn't have done with just queens, and he's gone. Kind of serves him right a little bit for being so passive with his big hands. So I joined the single draw because that's coming up. I don't want to miss out on that. It's kind of an interesting tournament, that one, in some ways. So I played three tournaments. This was yesterday. Now just got jacks, some blockers to some bigger pairs. I'm gonna call. Don't hit, unfortunately. Just make the fold pretty quickly. Decide to draw two. I hit my aces up, which is kind of what I was hoping to achieve there. And I get called by just jacks, which must be insane. I mean, it's amazing what some people will call you with. I mean, to call you with just jacks is just terrible, right? I mean, you have to be on a really out there bluff to be able to do that. So I'm up to 3-7 all of a sudden. Sort of really been short for a lot of the time. Um, Okay, darkness falls. It's a beautiful evening, actually. Beautiful early evening. All the lights are on now. All our Christmas lights are on. It's quite nice, actually. 14th out of 22. Suddenly, I mean, I could do it. I could cash here. I could win. I could. All sorts of things are possible now. Brat Nico and I I actually just change his colour. I see him there and I think, well, you're a good player. I need to change my colour to reflect that. I've seen him for a long time now. I thought I had back of my head, back of my mind, if I see him, change his colour because he's good. Got to make sure I know that I have him highlighted. Big winner overall in a bunch of different games. One of those Russians. There's like a band of Russians who are all pretty decent, and all seem to, they seem to get on. They have it seems like a little syndicate they've got going there. I think it's been like that for quite a long time, actually. See what I get here. Absolutely nothing. I was really hoping for an eight, wasn't I? Just really hoping for an eight. Didn't happen, sadly. So look at old Monsieur Boo with his 12,500. It's a very nice shape here. So I don't pretend to have to feel that I'm really good at this game, I think I decide to fold. Who do I decide to call? I decide to fold? Okay. Is this no limit single draw? You're trying to make hands that are the opposite of the best hands in this game, with one exception, but it's not a very important exception. Because ace is always high in single draw for some unknown reason. If you have ace two, three, four, five, that does not count in a straight in that as a straight in that game. You still have just an ace high, which is a pretty bad hand though. Open it up. That's a small bet. Check, check. I lose to it. Oh, pretty good hand. Pretty sure I would call here. Got an ace in my hand. Do I keep the ace or do I draw it? Let's see. I decide to keep it here. Go either way there. Mix it up a little bit. Decide to fold here. It's got a pair of threes. Not worth very much. 18th out of 22. Late reg is only 3 minutes from the end now. Aces. See what I get here. Nothing. Two aces. Aces in the cutoff. Let's go for 2.5 times. Anyone re-raises me, but I'm probably not liking it very much and probably actually have to fold. No, that doesn't happen. Quite what I wanted. Sixes. Not a lot happening in the tournament at the moment, if I'm honest. See, let that go. And this is someone decided to go for 10 times in this single draw. And someone's gone for an enormous raise here too. So you do see some abnormally large raises sometimes that don't make a lot of sense unless people are, so especially with when everybody's got aces, I guess, and then people call with call abnormally wide too. Oh, it's a big pot here. Nines and fours. That was just really, oh, just what do you say? Americans call that punting, don't they? Punting's a different thing for me. Punting involves a boat for me. But hmm, or betting, punting too, or like a nice punt, but not just putting your money in bad. Or it's like how few chips I have. And the thing is, you can't just get it all in with fours or whatever, because anyone calls it, you've got almost no equity. Very different from Hold'em. You always have some equity against any hand, really, no matter what you've got. We go here. Kings win. On two pairs, so obviously I'll go for that size again. I don't know why I'm for different sizes this time. I'm not going to fold here, I don't think. I might take it down. Sort of the mercy of the cards here, you know. Tournament could be all over any moment here. I decide to draw three, so I don't get pushed around too much. Two tens. I was hoping to pair one of my top cards. What? But actually, the tens were good enough to win. Sixes. Decide to limp. I've hit another six. Ooh. About half the pot. And I take it down, right? So that was nice. Shoots folds. Okay, called by just aces, which is interesting, isn't it? Hmm. Unfortunately, this is a single draw, so I'm not. Otherwise, I'd be going to stack up this enormous raise again, like 12 times. Not to kind of fathom sometimes. Okay, back to the game we're concentrating on here. Quite what I wanted. We've got 4,500, so I have a little bit of play now. 12th out of 20. So, you know, one good hand, one good pot, and I'm really in business. Okay. Gotta hit some hands though, that's what it's about now. Gotta hit some hands. And the queen high is just not gonna cut it, is it? Fold. Monsieur Bou is probably gonna be a bit looser than usual. I have to really think about this one. King's with an ace kicker. What do I decide to do here? Decide to fold. I don't know whether that's the right play. Whether I should have called there, you know. Yeah, looking back, that might have been a call. Maybe I need to think about that a little bit more, that spot. It's almost like I'm only going to be three betting or folding there. See nothing there. Down near the bottom again. Yep, late rangers finished, 9 get paid. It's about half the people in the tournament are going to get paid now. But I'm languishing well inside the bottom half. Pair of 9's not good enough there. So things have gone a bit French here. We've got Monsieur Bou, Jean 101, Jean 101, Jean 101. I think I'd let this go. Do I? Oh, no, I don't. I raise it's because of this guy Elias that because he's short, he might be doing some crazy stuff. What do I decide to do here? I think I draws the Queen Jack. Hit a Queen, drawing 1. Shall I win? Okay, so I think I decided to pat the Queen. I think that's what I decided. I think there were 4 people in the pot, and I didn't expect there to be that many. Unfortunately, the 10-9 takes it down. Wish I'd had that hand on the other table instead. Felt a lot happier about that. Okay, thing here, so 4,000. So what's my M then at the moment? I mean, it's a 5-handed table, but if you think about it, it's being 6, then my M is only about 3. Now Kakapoo-Poo's come back, so I'm thinking, oh god, the chance that I get knocked out in the next 5 minutes has just shot right up. He's got 30,000. Huge hand on this table. Absolutely massive. Some action. How many is he going to draw? Draws 1. Bet about 2/3 of the pot, and I get the fold. Okay. There's a kind of a nondescript start. Open under gun, I need to fold there. 2 pair on this table. So yeah, some feedback here would be appreciated. I'd really appreciate it. I mean, it's really, really hard. Where do you go to get feedback on, basically the forums and stuff are dead, so somebody else has gone now. 17 remaining. So I don't think I've ever managed to get above about 4.5 in this whole 4,500 in this tournament so far. Been kind of feeding off scraps a little bit. And I was almost dead quite some time ago now. Big draw under the gun here. But I don't actually find it a problem playing these two games simultaneously. I manage it, right. I think it's just I have the tables in a different size. I focus on one. Just it's not been. I've never had too much of a problem with that. Unfortunately, pair. 4-way. I'm not going to bluff this very often. We've also got somebody with 175. I want to take its bounty. I think I just get moved there. 3 3s, okay. Money going in here. Maybe I shouldn't have gone as big as that. Yeah, maybe I should just go. I probably should go a little bit smaller than that now. Aces. Always comes for such an enormous raise under the gun. Maybe I should have called, or even I mean, phew, I don't know. I mean, under the gun, you're not ahead of anybody's under the gun range. I mean, the only thing you should be. So now, of course, now what happens here? Pretty sure I call here, call and lose, and I felt I couldn't get away from that hand. I didn't feel I could get away from it. That was a shame. So Kakapupu, and he's certainly capable of bluffing. He had nine high, right? Because of that, I mean, I had to call. I had to call there. And that was a shame. 8,100. So look, if I win that pot, I've got 9,000. Damn. Yeah, 15th out of 16 now. On life support. For the second time in the tournament on life support with a three-figure stack. I think here, so I've got to hope I get pick up something in the big blind now because I'm basically forced to play this hand. I've got a pair of jacks, which is a way better than average hand. It's not fantastic, but it's above average. I'm going to get knocked out a lot of the time. If anybody raises like this, I'm now the mercy of. Well, I do actually have the best hand there. It was interesting. So I survive, even though I didn't improve. My jacks were enough. Hanging on for grim death. What have I got here? Got tens. I think I let it go. Whether I should have done that, I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm a little bit too tight, but I don't know. I feel like feel I'm about right, Had aces, you see, so I was behind his range. Nines now. Nines are the king. I decided I have to go with this simply because, um, the blinds are coming around again. Just going to draw three to give myself the best chance for improving. Like I'm going to need to improve. Feel like I'm behind Valentino's range now. Okay. Draws one. Ooh. Now I hit three nines. Isn't that nice? And I have the best hand. He had the sevens and threes, right? So, phew. Of course, the nines up would have won it for me too. So now, to that amount. Okay. I hit three queens, would you believe? Wow, so right at this stage, when I'm almost gone, he makes the fold, which is really interesting, isn't it? Um, so now I've got queens here, right? Ugh. Three betting if somebody raises me here. Interesting. We'll spell this as being. Cool. I don't know whether I need to go as big as that. Do I go as big as that? For 11-11. Ugh. He folds. That's a bit of a back. So I'm just 6,600. Wow. It's not a huge stack, but I'm still one of the, near the bottom even with that. So 14 left, 9 get paid. With a shout now, suddenly. Single draw. Let it go. or 5 times there on the button. Let's see what the point of that is. And we've got a pair of 5s on the button there. If I get involved with this. Nines, gonna let it go. It's difficult having this Kakapoo behind me, you know. Well, it was a very interesting what he did at the beginning, advertised, like, oh, look at me, I don't know what I'm doing. Got to watch that sort of thing, unfortunately. I mean, maybe this is the sort of hand I need to sort of try and pat bluff with. Maybe I need to actually do something like that, like go to 3,000 and then just pat and then put the rest of my stack in. I actually think that might have been what to do there with a hand like that. Nobody would have suspect me of having a pat hand there of bluffing there. I block a lot of stuff. What do I decide to do? This might have been a mistake. You know, decide to not. Like, normally I'd open that up there because of the situation with the stack size and things. I didn't do it, and I look back at that. I think I should have opened that up. You know, damn. It's funny we go back now. I'm in 13th out of 13. So man, it wasn't. I haven't. Yeah, so I haven't quite been able to capitalise on my good fortune. It's almost pitch black now. Side. Been terrible hand in this game. Perfectly fine in some other games. I'll be stacking off here with this stack size. Right. Not getting any hands. Just right now, after getting that spate of nice hands. Let that one go on that table. So I haven't made a good start in single draw, but I actually do come back in that one. Oh, and look at me! I've got a pat straight. Would you believe it? Isn't that fantastic? I have a dealt pat straight, and I get some action from you. You call me. So this is looking really, really fantastic. And now Monsieur Boo decides to re-raise, and now I'm thinking, what the hell has Kakapoopoo got? What's Monsieur Boo got? What's Kakapoopoo going to do? Is he going to call? And he folds, and he doesn't discard. So bloody hell! And I run straight into the pat flush with my pat straight. So, and this is why it's important to have a good idea of how strong your really strong hands are. And that hand I have, which is a 9 high straight, is equivalent to number 15 in single draw, so 87642. That's what my sheet of paper tells me, which I made. And yeah, it's a monster. And with a much, much bigger stack than that, like 5 times, 10 times, I'll be getting it all day there. What's interesting is that I think I've played this 6 times now. 2 of my bust outs have been with dealt pats against a better pat, right? So a third of the time I've busted out, it's been with something like that. And um, so it's important to get an idea of, is that just bad luck? The answer is yes. Okay. Of course, that's just your bust out, and you have a whole lot of other hands within the tournament where you run well or don't run well. But yeah, it's because you might think after having that happen to you twice in 6 tournaments that, well, you're obviously overvaluing pat hands or something, but actually you're not. You're just getting unlucky. So I'm 0 for 2 in that situation, but sometimes the boot's going to be on the other foot too, you know. So That's how that one ended then. Ooh, just like 9,000 that pot was too, right? So would have suddenly catapulted me into a position where I would have challenged for the money and all that stuff, but wasn't to be. And those little bubbles, I noticed that they had this new animation thing yesterday where I think starting from about three off the bubble, so there should be 12 here, I suppose, now down to 12 with me getting knocked out, bubbles started to appear. Like, oh, really? Like, because I had that happen to me, the single draw that you just saw a little bit of, I I had to navigate the bubble of that, and I managed to. I was so short throughout the whole tournament, and somehow I managed to finish fourth. Got no bounties, no bounties at all. It's a bounty tournament, obviously, and I that bubble thing. I was very likely to bubble that or finish one, two places outside the money. And I survived, and kept surviving, and kept surviving, and all the way up to fourth in the end, and just but never. I basically hardly ever covered anybody throughout the whole tournament. It was amazing what happened. I mean, that happens sometimes. That was a pretty extreme version of it where you're always short and having to just hang on. Sort of happened a bit in this one too. But anyway, that was that. That is five card draw. That was the entirety of a five card draw. So I went through it all, looked at things where I kind of missed some opportunities. I could have Pat bluffed, I think, that near the end. I think that was something I could have done. I need to look out for that a little bit. Uh, but feedback, please, please, please give me some feedback. Am I just shite at this? I actually don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm okay, but I feel I could be better. Anyway, I need to play this a bit more, and then I'll have a bit about. Only my results are going to tell me. Those sample size that I gave of my other games that I played a bit more, still not great sample sizes, but they're meaningful. Do not have a meaningful sample size of this yet at all. So just got to play a bit more, get an idea of what's happening, and yeah, that's might be the way I can tell absent any feedback from anybody else. So that'll do. So I'm going to put this up, two parts, both these parts up, and then I'll don't know when I'll put something else up. But yeah, there you go. You saw me not cash, so I was going to put it up no matter what happened. Four places off the money. That's what happens. And yeah, I'll be back sometime. Maybe over Christmas. Getting this all getting all very exciting now, isn't it? This Christmas thing coming up. I'm so excited about it. Can't you just tell? Anyway, that's enough from me. Okay, bye.